네네, 여기서 발표하실 거예요. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jiwon Choi, Director General of the Local Government Association for the Climate and Energy Transition in Korea. And I will be moderating today's session. And this side event titled Integrating Multi-Level Climate Actions and NDCs with Local Climate Funds is organized by Korea Pavilion here at the COP29. The goal of today's session is to explore the significance of multi-level climate action, introduce the concept of multi-level NDCs, and discuss how local climate funds can be effectively integrated to enhance greenhouse gas reductions and foster sustainability at the local level. The South Korean government has set a commitment to achieving carbon neutrality by 2050 and an ambitious target of a 40% reduction in emissions by 2030 compared to 2018 levels. Local governments across Korea are actively working to meet these 2030 NDC and 2050 carbon neutrality goals. Today, our speakers will provide diverse insights into multi-level climate action, NDC integration, and specific initiative towards achieving carbon neutrality in local communities. Now let's proceed with the opening remarks. To officially open today's session, I would like to introduce Mr. Seung-won Park, a chairperson of the Local Government Association for Climate and Energy Transition. Mr. Park has been a leader in mobilizing local government across Korea to actively contribute to climate crisis response and energy transition efforts. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Park. 박승원 시장님 앞으로 나오셔서 환영사 부탁드립니다.
네, 안녕하십니까. 저는 대한민국 에너지 전환 지방정부회 회장을 맡고 있는 광명시장 박승원입니다. 제29차 유엔 기후변화협약 당사국 총회 한국 홍보관 부대 행사를 주최하게 돼 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. 이 행사에 함께해 주신 남덴마크 대학의 니콜라 톨린 교수님, 이클레이 세계본부 쿠마르 부사무총장님, 프랑스 오팅시의 빈센트 쇼베님, 그리고 한국에서 함께 참여해 주신 유성훈 금천구청장님, 이강덕 포항시장님께도 감사드립니다. 유엔 기후변화협약 제29차 당사국 총회에서는 기후재정 행동기금 그리고 신규 기후재원 목표에 대한 합의가 주요 목표입니다. 따라서 세계 지방정부는 기후위기에 대응하기 위한 탄소중을 이해하는 과정에서 사회적 가치를 창출할 수 있을 것입니다. 기후 대응을 연계해서 지역 산업의 육성, 시민 사회와 협력, 지역 경제 활성화 등 지역에 긍정적인 기여를 할 수 있을 것이라고 믿습니다. 시간이 많지 않은 관계로 짧게 인사를 드리고 향후에 지방 정부 간의 교류의 장을 확대해 나갈 수 있도록 대한민국의 에너지 현안 지방 정부 협의회는 끝까지 함께 노력해 나가도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Hi everyone, I'm honored to be here to give an opening remark. I'm Seung-won Park, the mayor of Gwangmyeong City and chair of the Local Government Association for Climate and Energy Transition. First, I'm very pleased to host the side event at the Korean Pavilion for COP29. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Yeonhee Park, director of ICLEI Korea office, for helping to organize this event. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Professor Nicola Tollin from University of Southern Denmark, Deputy Secretary General Imani Kumar of the ICLEI, and Mr. Vincent Chauvet from the city of Autun in France, and Mayor Seung-hoon Yu of the Gwacheon City, and then Mayor Kang-deok Lee of Pohang, who joined us from the Korea. As seen with the key goals of COP29 this year, which aim for agreement on the Climate Finance Action Fund, and the new collective qualified goal, the role of finance is essential to overcome the climate crisis. The local government also need the funding and then execution to carry out the various climate actions, and cooperation with the central government is essential. In this regard, our local government council is hosting this event at COP29 under the theme Integrating Multi-Level Climate Action and NDCs with the local climate funds, to explore ways to local government to contribute to achieving national NDCs target and to utilize the regional climate fund. The Council will continue to expand opportunity for exchange between domestic and international local government, build the practical plans, and work diligently to foster cooperation with the various stakeholders. Once again, I appreciate everyone for participating in this meaningful event.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now let me introduce our distinguished speakers who will each share their expertise and experiences on multi-level climate action and local NDCs. Dr. Nicola Collin, UNESCO Chair on Urban Resilience at the University of Southern Denmark. Dr. Tollin will present an in-depth analysis of local climate actions within national NDC frameworks, highlighting examples from different countries. Dr. Tollin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Republic of Korea, for the invitation and to the chairperson for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and my presentation will focus on an analysis of the national attainment contribution, trying to understand what there is for cities in the national attainment contribution. Together with UN Habitat, we started to develop this type of analysis since 2016, after the signature of the Paris Agreement, and we have been publishing numerous reports that has also been followed by work in collaboration with the Global Green Growth Institute on a series of policy briefs, work with UNESCO Intergovernmental Hydrological Program, focusing specific on water at urban level, national climate policies. And also, more recently, we started a system to analyze also local climate plans using the same taxonomy that we did for climate policies in order to favor an integration. We've been developing a system of over 200 indicators through which we've been analyzing all NDCs submitted in the latest iteration. As you can see, we are particularly looking at mitigation adaptation challenges and action to respond to these challenges, both at national and at urban level, all this by sector for both mitigation and adaptation. And also we are looking at climate hazards and a number of cross-cutting issues. We have been classifying ultimately the country in 3 clusters, A, B, and C. A with strong countries with a strong urban content, meaning countries that are explicitly prioritizing cities in the NDCs. Cluster B, countries that are mentioning cities but not explicitly prioritizing. And Cluster C, NDCs and countries with no urban mention at all. It's important to highlight that the fact, as you will see soon from our map, the fact that an NDC doesn't have urban content doesn't mean that the country is not having anything done for climate at urban level. Nevertheless, the lack of city prioritization or mention in the NDC represent 2 levels of problems. From one side, climate action taken at city level is fundamental to support the implementation of objectives and targets established at national level, and also to raise the ambition of national goals and targets. Secondly, and most importantly, climate action at local level does require to have support in terms of finance, technology transfer, institutional framework, and capacity building. If cities are not explicitly mentioned in the NDCs and their needs are not quantified and identified, it's very difficult that cities will receive from national level the support they well deserve. This is the map. As you can see, 27% of the NDCs are prioritizing urban content, 39% are mentioning cities, and the rest, they are not. But ultimately, we have a very ample space of opportunity with 73% of the NDCs that shall strengthen further their urban inclusion. And the time for action is now. The NDC 3.0 are now under development. And it's now the time for all countries to come together with their also local authorities in the spirit of multi-level governance to increase the urban content. As you can see also, most of the NDCs having urban content are combining adaptation and mitigation, because in city this integration is much more evident. And this is in line also with what is discussed currently at global level, for example, in terms reminding that NDCs are not just about mitigation, but are about adaptation, that we shall seek also with integration in between NDC, National Adaptation Plan, and long-term low-carbon development strategies. This is the sector of mitigation, highlighting what there is in terms of identify urban climate challenges in solid line, and in dashed line the response to these challenges. As you can see, the sector are quite self-evident, and there is clearly transport, energy among the most mentioned, and also housing and construction sector. One thing to highlight is that at urban level there is a more focus on actual actions more than the identification of challenges. This may constitute an issue because if we are not well identifying challenges in the first place, it's much more difficult to monitor progress of the action that we're going to take. Here also we can see the same for adaptation, and you can see which are the priority sector, for example, water. But also you can see that at the end of the day, the number of NDC with the urban context for adaptation is quite limited. And among this limited number, there is also an issue about actually the strength of the content that's hereby included. I would like to highlight the graph in yellow that referred to climate hazards. And here you can see the comparison from national level and urban level. Water-related hazards are the most important here at national level, but at the urban level there is very limited number of NDCs that are actually able to understand what are the hazards for cities. And most importantly, we have found very, very little to none information regarding exposure and vulnerability. Here on the left-hand side of the slide, we can see also cross-cutting issues at urban level, but most importantly for discussion today is the top right graph. There are the means of implementation identified both at national and at urban level. Almost all NDCs are identifying needs in terms of finance, technology and capacity building, but only a very limited number of needs for finance at urban level is identified. And this is a major issue and a major gap to grow. For all the 194 NDCs that we've been analyzing, we've been preparing these country fishes here, where you can see mitigation and adaptation by sector, national at urban level, divided by challenges and action and the hazards. Here, countries are able to see one by one which sector they are prioritizing at national level but not at urban level. So they are having a very clear pathway in order to strengthen the urban content of the NDCs. Currently, we are working with UN Habitat to develop a toolkit and guidelines in order to support country by country to further include cities in the NDCs. Here are some highlight recommendations that I already mentioned through the presentation. The issue of finance, the issue of integration, mitigation, adaptation, the issue of strengthening a more comprehensive understanding of climate risk at urban level, not only in terms of hazard, but also vulnerability and exposure. We shall also look at cost of inaction, cost of maladaptation, and also cost of loss and damages, very importantly. Ultimately, we do need to have a better collaboration between local and national level, and at the local as well as the national level also across departmental integration. Many cities and in many national governments, the collaboration between departments is not working as it should. And there is an effort also at global level by United Nations to integrate, for example, the Sustainable Development Agenda, the national urban policies together with climate action and other sector-specific type of policy. The same shall happen also in our cities. And cities, together with countries, shall cooperate together with everybody else. Here the work that I already mentioned before, and I close here my intervention, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Tolin. Thank you for your insightful presentation. A critical gap in urban level climate finance and integration within NDCs highlight the need for better tools and guidelines to support comprehensive action. Next speaker is Mr. Emani Kumar, Deputy Secretary General of ICLEI. Mr. Kumar will discuss the importance of multi-level climate action in addressing the climate emergency and the role of NDCs in achieving meaningful impact. Mr. Kumar, please begin your presentation here.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just had a good meeting with two of the leading mayors in the morning and just now. And I will say my life is now happy because I'm talking after my good friend, mentor, and Professor Tolin. He is the subject expert for so many years. We are also learning from him a lot. And thank you, Nicola, for very wonderful presentation. I think some of your slides are also part of my slides, so I don't need to repeat all of them. But I'm talking about ICLEI, which is a city association all over the world with more than 2,600 members, and how we are addressing the multi-level climate action, and how we are supporting maybe multi-level climate action and NDCs. That's what I'm going to talk about in next maybe 8 to 10 minutes on that. As I said, that ICLEI is a global association of city governments with more than 2,600 cities coming from more than 100 plus odd countries with more than 25 offices all over the world. And we are proudly say that whatever we work, we are influencing around 25% or more than 25% of the urban population. So that's where we are coming up. And in this, you can see the Asia Pacific region, where we have more than 250 city governments and regional governments as part of our members, active in more than 20 countries, again impacting around 25%. And we work 5 development pathways. You can see that equitable, zero emission development, nature-based development, circular development, resilient development. So we work very closely with the local governments and subnational governments so that we can support to the national governments to implement the NDCs on that. So that's what our work, and you can see our offices where they are in that. This is the total around 49. I have not seen Nicolo's previous slides, but Nicolo is presented, I think, global one. And if I bring it to the Asia Pacific, there are around 49 member states. We have all the 49 member states have submitted NDCs, and 46 parties have submitted their first NDC, and we are all waiting what will happen in February 2025 if all of them want to submit a new NDC, or if they want to submit the old one, say we are already committed whatever they are supposed to do on that. So we have recently done, maybe I have a few other slides, maybe I can show you, but this is about the NDCs in the Asia Pacific region, and this is, I think, in addition to what Nicolo has given already on the slides on that. Coming to the insights, I think on the previous, I think Nicolo has also talked about more on the urban NDCs, but all the NDC commitments fall short. I think that's a loud and clear message what we have. And there is the Asia Pacific region has an immense potential to provide and harness on the renewable energy, but actually, unfortunately, not that much is committed from our NDCs in the Asia Pacific region. Just transition, green growth and green jobs is the main point all over the world. I come from a country where 1.4 billion population is living, and the Prime Minister talks about the job creation and how can we address NDCs at the same time on that. So this is what is interesting here in the Asia Pacific region, and the Asia Pacific countries have a great opportunity to reassess their commitments. So we were actually supporting, helping, urging the national governments to go further to what they have committed already in NDC 1.0 and 2.0, and hopefully national governments will come out with a measure on that. I don't want to get into this because Niccolo has talked about mostly on the global level, but this is about the urban context in the Asia Pacific level. I have these slides with all of you, so you can look into. And I think Niccolo also talked about the global on the various sectors. In Asia Pacific, mainly again the same similar one: energy, transport, mobility, and waste. I think these are the various sectors which our Asia Pacific countries have looked into, and hopefully this time when they submit the new NDCs, NDC 3.0, they will have maybe a higher and ambitious targets. They will come out on that. This is I think Niccolo must have said in his sleep. This is the next generation and NDCs. What I think Niccolo, you must have already talked about this in your slides. But what I will tell you in next 4 or 5 slides is that what ICLEI is doing either in Asia Pacific or in the global. I don't know how many of you know that this is the one initiative along with at the COP29 we came up with UN Habitat and ICLEI have come together with all our partners. You can see in the second level row, and also 100 plus members of the Global Surge Alliance came up with a sustainable urban resilience for next generation initiative, the Surge initiative, which we have launched it. Next week we have another urban and climate ministerial meeting is going to take place. So we are happy that it has launched and it's continuing. Actually, I will say that I'm happy that it is continuing. It's not just only a climate COP is just only for the environmental ministers or the climate ministers, but it's also the urban ministers should come and say that what is happening in the urban, because that's where a lot of actions can take place on that. So this is one initiative we have launched in COP27 and which is continuing on that. The other thing which we are doing, thanks to U.S. Department of State and also Department of Energy, Department of Transport, on the Asia-LEDS partnership. This is Asia Low Emission Development Strategies. We have more than 12 national governments in Asia Pacific region are part of these members, and all others also. There are 427 organizations, 867 individuals, and 14 Asia countries. I'm sorry, I said 11, 12, but 14 Asian countries are part of that. What we are helping them through this particular program is on the 5 COPs, which we are helping them on the grid scale integration, finance, subnational, clean mobility, and building energy efficiency. This is the way we are supporting them. NREL and National Renewable Energy Laboratories of US is the main coordinator at the global level, and ICLEI with other partners we are doing at the Asia Pacific level on that. The other one we just did it in August. We had a meeting of on towards decarbonization in Asia Pacific through 2025 NDCs as part of the Asia-LEDS Partnership Forum. We have more than 150 participants from 32 countries joined us, and the key highlights as I'm showing it here towards achieving a low carbon future for nations in Asia Pacific region, emphasizing on the alignment of the NDCs and LT-LEDs, long-term low emission development strategies, and competitive procurement center is one. CPC has been launched as part of this ALP forum, and we are happy to support the national government, any city government or a regional government on procuring of renewable energy sources, procuring of clean energy sources through this particular CPC. And CPC is also supported by State Department and USA USAID on that. These are the key takeaways. I think some of them, as already I have said, that aligning NDCs with LT-LEDs. The main thing came up is the financial framework for the implementation. I think most of the governments are asking for it, either a subnational or a city or even a national government is saying that where is the money to implement, even if I go for a stronger or a more ambitious NDC, but if I don't have money, how can I implement that? So that's the major thing has come out, multi-level support and climate projects, investments. So these are the various highlights which have come out on that. The other thing is we have also launched 2 years back, along with again USAID, GIZ, NREL, and US State Department and US Transport Department with SLOCAT and other partners on the leadership group for the clean transport in Asia, advancing transitions towards net zero emission transport system. Through this again, we have more than 11 national governments or even 12 national governments committed to advancing their transport, the clean transport systems, more towards e-vehicles, more towards clean fuels, and there is a communique right now we have asked, and the cities and subnational governments and national governments are discussing on the communique, and hopefully if everything goes well, we will introduce or we will release the communique as part of the EST forum next month happening in Manila, actually in December on that. So this is another initiative which we have came up with. You can see the countries involved: Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Indonesia, Laos, PDR, Mongolia, Nepal, Philippines, Sri Lanka, and all these things. Actually, I was talking to the Korean cities. If they are interested, maybe they should join this particular intel that. Just 2-3 cities. This is another global initiative, the CHAMP initiative, which already 74 countries as of October 2024 has committed to that. The CHAMP has launched in the UAE, the COP, last year COP. Mainly their commitments is actually they want to collaborate, bring a ambitious NDC for 2025, NDC investment and voluntary review and high-level dialogue on that. So this is another international initiative launched in Dubai COP, and hopefully other countries will come together. And actually we are also reviewing, we are also discussing through this CHAMP how the countries can bring much more ambitious NDC in these countries on that. So this is about the CHAMP endorses. I don't want to, I think, have taken already a long time. This is another program which we are doing with in India and also in Malaysia recently. We have launched net zero climate action plans. This is about the net zero, the targets. All the slides are available with the organizers, so you can take it. I don't want to take up too much time on that. This is also another civil society organized JSG platform which we have created in India, and which is also looking into the BUR report, what Government of India is submitting, and see how their numbers are taking place on that. This is our support. GCOM is another one which is happening on that. And you all know about the CDP and ICLI track on reporting of the various climate actions plans and this thing. So finally, just to conclude, I'll say that NDC 3.0 on the climate sensitive urban development in Asia Pacific. These are the things like what we are suggesting to the national governments to come out with. And I hope the next NDCs will be more ambitious than the previous ones on that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I hope that the various initiatives Mr. Kumar mentioned, including SURGE and CHAMP, and more showcase that here in COP will lead to more ambitious outcomes, resulting in strengthen our 2035 NDC. Next speaker is Mr. Seung-won Park, Mayor of Gwangmyeong City. As a mayor, Mr. Park is pioneering initiatives to make Gwangmyeong a carbon neutral city through citizen-driven efforts. Mr. Park, please share your insights with the presentation.
네, 만나서 반갑습니다. 통역을 해야 돼서 가능한 한 짧게 말씀을 드리도록 하겠습니다. PT 한 페이지에 한 번씩 이야기하고 통역이 또 설명하고 그렇게 넘어가도록 하겠습니다. 아이폰 하면 애플이 떠오르지 않습니까? 애플 하면 아이폰이 떠오르는 것처럼 아이폰의 가치가 높아질수록 애플의 가치도 높아지겠죠. 예. 맥도날드 하면 빅맥이 떠오르지 않습니까? 마찬가지로 빅맥의 가치가 높아질수록 네.
Do you know which firm manufacture iPhone? The Apple. Do you agree with that the iPhone's brand value is huge and priceless? As iPhone's brand value is rising, its manufacturer Apple's value is rising together.
마찬가지로 빅맥 하면 맥도날드가 떠오르고 맥도날드 하면 빅맥이 떠오르지 않을까요?
How about McDonald's and Big Mac? Once you heard Big Mac, do you come up with the McDonald's? If the brand value of a Big Mac is going up, then its brand owner McDonald's value is going up as well.
K-pop 하면 BTS가 떠오르고 또 BTS 하면 대표적인 대한민국이 떠오르지 않습니까?
How about K-pop and BTS? What do remind you if you hear BTS? It should K-culture and Korea.
마찬가지로 광명시 하면 탄소중립, 탄소중립 도시 하면 광명이 떠오른다는 생각으로 광명시는 탄소중립 도시를 만들어가기 위해서 노력해 나가고 있습니다.
Just like that, we wanted to Gwangmyeong City when matching with the carbon neutrality. We are building Gwangmyeong City's future as a carbon neutrality city.
대한민국 광명시는 수도권의 인구 30만이 안 되는 작은 도시입니다. 서울과 바로 붙어 있는 도시입니다.
Gwangmyeong City, within the nearby the Seoul, and then our population is 30 million of people.
기후 위기는 시민의 인권, 건강, 평화, 경제 등 우리 시민들의 모든 일상에 아주 깊은 영향을 펼칩니다.
With the Gwangmyeong's the climate crisis, there is escalating social equality within the urban scale. It's impacting right and health and peace economy. It's covering everything.
따라서 광명시는 탄소 중립 시대를 위한 가치의 전환을 통해서 다음과 같은 6가지의 가장 기본적인 가치를 가지고 시정을 펼치고 있습니다. 첫 번째로 주민이 중심되는 자치분권, 평생 동안 배워나가는 평생학습, 그것을 통해서 지속가능 도시를 만들어가기 위한 탄소중립, 그리고 일상에서의 자원순환 활동, 그리고 그것이 경제가 되는 사회적 경제, 이런 모든 과정과 함께 정원도시를 만들어 나간다라고 하는 6가지의 기본적인 가치를 중심으로 탄소중립 시대를 만들어가기 위해서, 넷째를 만들어가기 위해서 노력하고 있습니다.
To solve the climate crisis, the Gwangmyeong City tried to redefine value to embrace the carbon neutral era. There are 6 essential the value we the fostering. First, autonomy. Second, lifelong learning. Third, carbon neutrality. Fourth, resource circulation. Fifth, social economy. Six, garden cities. Those are all value we try to achieve for the carbon neutral the era.
광명시가 탄소 중립 도시를 만들기 위한 본격적인 시작은 2018년도부터 시작됐습니다. 기후 에너지과라고 하는 시청 조직을 만들고 나서 기후 에너지 센터, 그리고 녹색 건축 지원 센터, 그리고 환경 교육 센터, 업사이클 아트 센터를 만들어가면서 이러한 중간 지원 조직을 통해서 시와 시민이 함께 탄소 중립 시대를 만들어가기 위한 기본적인 시스템을 갖췄습니다. 그 과정에서 시민들이 중심이 된 에너지 협동조합을 만들고 지금까지 지속적으로 시민과 함께 탄소 중립 도시를 만들어가는 일들을 해왔습니다.
Our journey, starting from 2018, the September, we established the first the climate energy the division within our city, and then the climate energy center. We're building the green center, and also the upcycling the center to educate the people and the community. So we always try to gather together with our community, and then we focusing on the how creating the community, fostering the carbon neutral the goal together. That was our journey.
이 사진은 작년에 2050 광명시 탄소 중립 도시 선포식 장면입니다. 2050년까지 탄소 중립을 함께 시민과 실현해 나가자라고 하는 약속을 했고, 초등학생이 저에게 그 약속해달라고 하는 선언서를 전달해 주는 그런 장면입니다.
This photo shows the carbon neutrality declaration event. We assigned the more than 10,000 people of the climate troop, and this photo shows that the elementary school student gave me the hug and then delivered the declaration agreement.
광명시의 대표적인 탄소 중립은 시민이 주도하는 탄소 중립 활동으로 전개되고 있습니다. 모든 동에서 자치적으로 주민들이 활동하고 그 학습을 도모하기 위한 시민 자치 대학을 운영하고 실질적인 활동가를 양성하는 1.5도시 기후 의병에 가입하고 그렇게 활동하는 사람들에게 지역 화폐로 다시 돌려드리는 이런 활동을 전개하고 있습니다.
As I said, our approach is really citizen driven. So let me tell you about the several strategies we implemented. The first, empowering community initiatives. Second, the autonomous university. Third, 1.5 Celsius degree, the goal climate resilient force, which the number of membership reached to 10,000 people.
재생에너지 확대를 위한 사업을 많이 진행하고 있습니다. 에너지 협동조합을 2개를 만들어서 모든 공공시설의 옥상에 태양광을 설치를 하고 있고, 그리고 태양광 보급 사업을 지원하고 있고, 전기차, 수소차 충전소를 설치하면서 재생에너지 확대를 위해서 노력하고 있습니다.
Second approach, also we thriving the energy transition through the expanded the renewable energy is really based on the solar panel installation. We forming the two community cooperation to help us to build the solar panel the station, and also we supporting the financially support the hydrogen and then also electricity the station as well.
녹색 건축 사업으로는 그린 공공 건축물의 그린 리모델링 사업을 진행하고 있고 또한 그린 집수리 사업을 진행하고 있는데 리모델링 사업은 2018년 대비 전기와 가스에 상당한 절감 효과를 볼 수 있었습니다.
Another approach is we try to improve energy efficiency through the green construction. We could make a really impressive achievement in the energy the reduction. So what we reduced the 57.8% in electricity and also 35.6% in gas.
자원순환 경제 시스템은 업사이클 센터를 만들어서 산업을 육성하고 업사이클 문화를 확산해 나가고 있고 생활 폐기물이나 폐가전, 인목 폐기물 등을 무료로 수거하는 사업들을 전국 최초로 진행해 가고 있습니다.
Another approach is we are establishing the circular economy through upcycling center. So we do have the free collective the services and also we providing this is the first the case in the South Korea. That's the really meaningful the step for us.
정원 도시를 만들어가기 위해서 노력하고 있습니다. 집 밖에 나가면 5분 안에 정원이 모일 수 있도록 정원 도시를 조성하고 있는데 2022년 대비 현재 100% 이상의 정원을 조성하고 있고 이 정원은 시민들이 함께 조성해 가고 있습니다.
The last value we are fostering is the creating the 5-minute garden city. From our journey starting from 2022 until now, we made the impressive increase, which is 108%.
제도적 기반과 관련해서 기후대금 기금을 조성하는 사업들을 진행하고 있고 또한 온실가스 감축 인지 예산제를 정부보다 먼저 진행해 가고 있습니다.
I would like to take a closer lens on how we develop the institutional framework and policy advancement. The first, the Climate Response Fund. Second, implementation of greenhouse gas reduction conscious budgeting. This is the ahead of the step of our national government.
ESG 산업 생태계를 구축하기 위해서 지역에 있는 중소기업의 ESG 경영 전반에 대한 평가와 컨설팅, 예산 지원을 할 수 있는 틀을 만들어 나가고 있고 ESG 친화형 스타트업을 육성하는 사업들을 진행해 나가고 있습니다.
We also having another approach to creating the sustainable city through the ESG principle. First step was we creating the ESG the packages to giving the incentives the who doing a ESG principle, and then second we trying to encourage ESG friendly startups, and we also financially support them for scaling up.
탄소 중립 스마트 도시를 만들기 위해서 현재 160억을 확보해서 KTX 고속철도역 주변에 재생에너지를 생산하고 전기차, 오토바이로 배달하는 등의 스마트 도시를 탄소중 스마트 도시를 만들어가는 사업을 현재 추진하고 있습니다.
We also select the model compact smart city. We try to secure a 3-year budget of 16 billion Korean won to build the Gwangmyeong's the unique carbon neutral smart city. This our smart city going to utilize advanced technology to tackle the climate crisis.
광명시는 기후 위기로부터 시민의 삶을 지키는 도넛 도시를 지향하고 있습니다. 부족한 것은 기본적인 삶에 부족한 것은 채워나가고 넘치는 것은 줄여나가면서 모든 삶에 필요한 모든 영역 것을 함께 추진해 나가는 탄소 중립도시 광명을 지향해 나가고 있습니다.
We are aiming the donut city, which is a balanced space where people can thrive in harmony with the nature. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation with many insightful practices in Gwangmyeong. Particularly the picture of a children hugging who asked the mayor to protect the earth from the climate crisis is very impressive. Now let's meet the case of small towns' effort to achieve NDCs. Mr. Peng Chaube, Mayor of Autun City, France. Mr. Chaube will discuss the contributions of small towns within the EU towards meeting NDC targets and the unique challenges they face. Mr. Chaube, welcome to the presentation.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting us. This is my city of Autun. It's quite a close-up. You can even see my house from here. But I'm not going to talk only about my city, but about all small cities in Europe. As a representative of the European Committee of the Regions, the European Committee of the Regions is maybe the first transnational democratic assembly of local politicians. So we are mayors, local councillors, local regional councillors, and all level of subnational government. And thanks for ICLE, with which we collaborate a lot for their tremendous efforts to bring us together on a global scale. And thank you as well for the presentation, Professor Nicolas Torin. Was very interesting, and the example of mayors is always interesting as well. I will come back to this in a second. But when you did your presentation, we clearly saw that in the European Union you had the courtesy to take the example of Denmark, but you could have taken the example of France. We are in cluster C, meaning almost no inclusion of the urban facts into NDCs. And what we advocate for in the European Committee of the Regions is a formal inclusion of urban cities, but also subnational level of governments in meeting the targets, but also in elaborating the targets, saying that, as you exemplified magnificently, we are delivering climate action at the local level, and we are decarbonizing at the local level. So you have the power in big cities to do a lot of things, but we also have this level of smaller cities like Autun. We are 14,000 inhabitants in a natural park. You see the forests, most of which was bought by the city to have sustainable forest management, by the way. But we are a scale where we tend to organize a bigger territory of rural areas, of agricultural areas, and we are linked, and we make a union between very rural areas and metropolises, which are much bigger. And you have already institutionalized at the level of big cities, for instance, with the C40 network, of 40 important cities collaborating together. You have already these mayors of big cities that are doing a lot of things, but also in the European Union at the local level. For smaller city, I think we have a way. Why? Because, and you have the same a challenge in Korea, we mostly are on the decline demographically, we are losing inhabitants. And this is why we have the necessity at the same time to meet this demographic challenge and the environment challenge. And by this is also to have a sober way of development of the city, also recycling unused land, recycling unused building to achieve net zero and carbon neutrality. And this is why we are pushing forward a certain number of ideas at the European level. So I said the inclusion of subnational government in NDCs, what we called locally and regionally determined contribution, LRDCs, which can add up to make up NDCs, and which are sometimes more and some of them many times more ambitious than national NDCs. When you add up local regionally determined contributions, you add up and you end up having a more ambitious target sometimes. And this is why France has launched last year, and it's going to continue, local COPs at the regional level with the same idea as we have in COPs. So having also other stakeholders and businesses and associations and citizen participation at the regional level to build this regionally determined contribution and make up for our NDCs, but also our adaptation plan under EU law. We're also advocating, and this is the COP for finance, right? So we're advocating for direct financing to subnational governments. In many cases, you don't have direct finances to local governments, and it's a big issue for every country to meet directly and to finance directly the people who are doing stuff on the ground. And we are also, and it's going to be next year, the first time we are implementing this, green budgeting. You talked about this, what you said, I wrote mindful budgeting or conscious budgeting. We call it green budgeting, meaning how you quantify what you spend in terms of CO2 impact. So it's not easy, it's not an easy question, even though at the local level we're more practical, but it's not an easy question. So several methodologies have been developed. The one we advocate for is I4CE. It's a French think tank that NGO that had this methodology, I4CE. And this year, every city above a certain threshold, so every city from small towns onwards, will have to implement green budgeting for our investments. And in the coming year, we're going to have green budgeting for functioning. But it's more difficult, of course, because how you quantify how a civil servant is emitting CO2 or not. It's more reflection, and we'll see how we do this. And the idea also, and you mentioned it as well, it was really interesting, regarding fiscal policy, but also tax policy. How do we, at the local level, implement taxes that are carbon efficient? It's not easy. It depends really on the national system, but you have to think about how you can use the fiscal power that you have or have not at the local level and use it in a carbon efficient manner. It's still a lot to discuss as well. The idea we have is really to put forward in many cities and especially in the European Union and at the international level the role of cities and regions. UN Habitat is helping a lot, the Surge Initiative, the CHAMP Initiative, and it's going to continue with the ministerial meeting next week. And we hope a lot of governments will attend, even if some will not for other reasons. But we're pushing for governments to attend this meeting and also exchange ideas. You talked about electric car community sharing or electric car community car sharing. It's some of the things we're also reflecting at the local level in my city, and also the way we can take on board businesses and for instance for electric vehicles in almost no country the electric vehicles are produced by the government, and the charging station are also most of the time constructed and exploited by the private sector, and it's a good way of including the private sector and the benefit they're going to do in the transition with our local community. So the role of our cities in Europe and in the world, I think for smaller cities, we don't talk necessarily a lot about smaller cities, but it's to bridge this gap between rural areas which are already connected to nature, bigger cities which are already doing a lot, and in fact the majority of the population in many states live in small cities, and we want to have their voices heard at the international level, and especially for the next round of NDCs. Yes, thank you very much, and looking forward to have a discussion with you.
Thank you, Mr. Pengxiang Sobei. NRDC was very impressive and interesting. And direct financial support from central government to local government is an issue of universal importance as it affects the capacity of all stakeholders to deliver tangible climate action results. Our fourth presentation will be Mr. Yu Sung-hoon, the mayor of Kumcheon City from Korea, will do that. Mr. Yu will present key initiatives undertaken by local governments in Korea to advance towards carbon neutrality. Mr. Yu, the floor is yours.
예, 반갑습니다. 서울 금천구의 구청장으로 있는 유성훈이라고 합니다. 먼저 저희 금천구를 간략하게 소개 말씀드리겠습니다. 금천구는 서울 서남권에 있는 대표적인 주거 밀집 지역에 있습니다. 약 23만의 금천구에 있고요. 거기에 14,000개 정도의 기업이 있는 서울 서남권의 대표적인 IT 클러스터를 갖고 있는 그런 도시입니다.
Hi. Hi, I'm Yu Sung-hoon, mayor of Kumcheon-gu. I would like to present a major initiative that Kumcheon-gu is promoting to implement carbon neutrality at local government level. Let me briefly introduce our Kumcheon-gu. We are located in the southwestern part of Seoul, the capital of the South Korea. They're serving as a gateway to southwestern Seoul. Established as a new city in 1995, it has a population of 226,000 people, and also 14,000 of IT. The IT company in the IT cluster.
금천구는 저희가 목표로 2050년도 탄소 중립 목표로 해서 여러 가지 사업들을 벌이고 있습니다. 특히 금천구가 도심 지역이기 때문에 이 도심에 맞는 그런 실천 사례를 중심으로 해서 말씀드리도록 하겠습니다.
To achieve the common goal of carbon neutrality by 2050, Kumcheon-gu, we are trying to implement the local level of the strategy. So let me introduce that.
네, 먼저 금천구는 2050년 탄소 중립 실현을 목표로 해서 기업과
구민 그리고 주민이 모두 참여하는 공동 선언으로 실천 시작했습니다.
We starting from the carbon declaration ceremony in this June. This is our first step for our the carbon neutrality journey.
먼저 도심 지역으로서의 특성이 있어서 대개 탄소 발생이 주택이나 가정, 건물, 또 수송, 폐기물 분야에서 많이 발생하고 있는 점 착안해서 제일 먼저 주택과 건물에 대한 넷제로 운동을 시작했습니다. 그중에 첫 번째가 건물에 대한 녹색 건물 인증제를 실시를 해서 녹색 건물인 경우 건물에 대한 과감한 인센티브를 주는 그런 사업을 벌이고 있습니다.
Based on our the close analysis, where the carbon emissions comes from, we found that the mostly is come from the household and also the building and the transportation and then the building itself. So what we implement in our Kumcheonggu is that the main project for greenhouse gas reduction is incentive program. So we giving them this incentive program that raise the floor area ratio up to 120% for building constructed using zero energy building certification, the green building energy efficiency certification, and the eco-friendly building materials.
예, 두 번째 사업은 민간 건물에 대한 에너지 효율화 사업입니다. 민간 건물을 에너지를 효율을 통해서 탄소 중립과 기후 위기에 대응하는 그런 사업이 두 번째 사업입니다.
Additionally, we are running the project to support energy efficiency improvements, such as providing subsidies for LED lighting and the renewable energy installation in private buildings, and promoting energy saving through insulation reinforcement and high efficiency heating and cooling installation in public buildings.
세 번째로는 이 기후위기 대응 탄소 중립 운동이 정부만의 어떤 그런 역할이 아니라 시민 주도의 탄소 중립 실천 운동으로서 발전해야 되기 때문에 그런 또 시민 주도 중심으로서의 어떤 실천 운동 공동체 형성에 초점을 맞춰서 활동을 벌이고 있습니다.
So we also focusing on the community-driven program. So we also fostering the climate action the program which led by our community.
네 번째로는 우리 금천구에 에코 에너지 센터를 설립을 해서 주민들의 교육과 또 주민과 함께하는 그런 또 실천 프로그램들을 유지하고 있습니다.
We also, to establish a hub for energy transition and carbon neutrality, we opened the Gwacheon Eco Energy Center on April 26. The key project include renewable energy distribution and community collaboration for energy transition, alongside training energy consultant and publishing energy report.
구청사를 포함해서 여러 가지 신재생 에너지 보급 사업, 또 에너지 자립 마을을 만들어 나가는 그런 또 여러 가지 같이 부가적인 사업들을 벌이고 있습니다.
We also creating the autonomy, the village, which is the renewable energy, the 100% of the renewable energy, the village.
주민들과 우리 교육을 위해서 얼마 전에 개관한 이제 금천구에 있는 에코 에너지 센터인데요. 이 에코 에너지 센터를 중심으로 해서 주민들의 교육 거점 기관으로 활용해 나가면서 주민들 스스로가 교육하고 주민들 스스로가 실천 운동에 참여하는 그런 또 활동으로 거듭나고 있습니다.
Kumcheon Eco Center, the photo showing here, has been created as a climate change awareness and an education facility utilizing indoor and outdoor space at the district office complex. A feature of rooftop solar experience area and themed stairs for environmental education and a carbon neutral zone where we train environmental education instructor and operate the educational programs.
주민들과 함께하는 그 탄소 중립 교육기관들도 구청에도 설립을 했습니다. 구청사 자체가 방문하는 주민들이 이용할 수 있고 에코센터로 공공기관이 하나의 에코센터로 전형되어 모델로 되는 그런 사업이기도 합니다.
To promote the culture of carbon neutrality, we utilized our building as an exhibition and also to educate the people how to reduce the carbon and also how to reach the carbon neutral city. So we wanted to form the carbon neutral citizen action group as well.
주민들 스스로 이런 넷제로 운동 또 2025년 우리 탄소 중립을 위한 여러 가지 사업들을 추진하면서 탄소 중립 실천 시민단을 조직을 해서 주민들이 활동하는 그런 모습이기도 합니다.
This photo shows the carbon neutrality citizen movement. This action group participated in the climate action the campaign as shown here.
예, 마지막으로 우리 금천구의 예산과 관련해서 온실가스 감축 인지 예산제를 이제 실시를 해나가고 있습니다. 예산 수립 시에 기후환경 변화에 대한 분석 그리고 배출 예상 사업들에 대해서는 축소하고 온실가스 감축 예상 사업들을 확대해 나가는 그런 제도를 실시를 준비하고 검토해 나가고 있다고 말씀드립니다.
Finally, we have implemented a greenhouse gas reduction budget initiative. This system analyzes the climate impact of a project in Gyeongcheon-gu and incorporates climate consideration into the budget formulation process. Projects expected to reduce greenhouse gas are expanded, while projects likely to increase emission are counterbalanced to pursue greenhouse gas reduction.
네. 이상으로 금천구 사례를 말씀드렸습니다. 감사합니다.
This concludes the presentation of major initiative for implementing carbon neutrality in local government in Gyeongcheon-gu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Ryu. Thank you for your presentation. Our final presenter is Mr. Kang Dok Lee. He's a special guest for the association, Mayor of Pohang City from Korea. Mr. Lee, please have your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mayor of Pohang City, Republic of Korea. 오늘 제29차 유엔 기후변화 현업 협약 당사국 총회가 열리고 있는 바쿠에서 이렇게 뜻깊은 자리를 마련해 주신 우리 기후위기 대응 에너지 전환 지방정부협의회 박성원 광명시장님 또 유성훈 금천구청장님을 비롯한 관계자 여러분께 감사를 드립니다.
I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Chairman Park Seung-won, who's also mayor of the Gwangmyeong City, and via Chairman Yoo Seung-hoon, who's also mayor of Gyeongcheon-gu of Seoul City, South Korea, and all the officials of the local government association for climate crisis response and energy transition for arranging this meaningful event here in Baku, where UNFCCC COP29 is being held.
오늘 우리는 지구를 위한 공동의 책임을 인식하고 도시 차원의 실질적인 해결책을 모색하기 위해서 모였습니다.
Today, we gathered together right here in this place in order to recognize our sharing responsibility for this planet and to create practical solutions at municipal policy level.
PPT가 지금 빨리 안 떠올라서 좀 미안하게 생각합니다. 저 뒤에 좀 잘 부탁합니다. Translate.
Yes, I would like to. I would like to watch out our PPT screen image.
오케이. 오늘 저는 과거 산업화의 상징이었던 도시가 이제 녹색 환경 도시로 변하는 과정을 여러분과 공유하고자 합니다.
I would like to share with you the process how a city once used to be a symbol of national industrialization is now transformed into a green environmental city.
오케이. 포항은 반세기 동안 대한민국 경제 발전에 중추적 역할을 해온 철강 도시입니다.
Pohang City has been a steel city playing a pivotal role in South Korea's economic development for half a century.
그러나 우리는 급속한 산업화와 눈부신 여정의 성장의 이면에 숨겨진 환경적 대가를 직면하고 있습니다.
However, we have come to face the environmental cost concealed behind rapid industrialization and remarkable growth.
철강 산업의 온실가스 배출량이 대한민국 전체 산업 배출량의 30%를 넘어서는 동안에 포항의 평균 기온이 상승하고 폭염 일수도 늘어났습니다.
While greenhouse gas emission from steel industry exceeded 30% of the total industrial emission in South Korea, Pohang City's average temperature rose and the number of heatwave days increased.
이는 곧 우리의 삶을 위협하는 요인이 되었습니다.
This soon became a factor threatening our lives.
이러한 위기와 문제 해결의 필요성을 인식한 우리 시에서는 2021년 2050 탄소 중립 환경 드림시티 포항이라는 비전을 선포하면서 과감한 변화의 여정을 시작했습니다.
Recognizing this crisis and the need for problem solving, Pohang City embarked on a bold journey of change in 2021 by declaring the vision of Pohang 2050 carbon neutral environmental dream city.
우리의 목표는 명확합니다. 2018년 기준으로 3,700만 톤이었던 온실가스 배출량을 2030년까지 40%, 2040년까지 55%를 감축하고 2050년에는 완전한 탄소 중립을 달성하는 것입니다.
Our goal is clear. We aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which stood at 37 million tons as of 2018, by 40% by 2030, 55% by 2040, and achieve complete carbon neutrality by 2050.
우리는 이러한 실질적인 변화를 이끌어내기 위해서 더 구체적이고 체계적인 계획을 수립했습니다.
We have developed the concrete plans to bring about practical change.
그리고 2024년 현재 핵심 실천 전략의 가시적인 성과가 나타나고 있습니다.
And as of 2024, we are seeing visible results from our key implementation strategies.
저탄소 미래 신성장 산업 육성을 통한 산업구조 대개편은 포항시의 탄소 중립 실현의 중요한 전략입니다.
Industrial structure reorganization through fostering new carbon future, new growth industry is a crucial strategy for realizing Pohang City's carbon neutrality.
지난 10년간 포항은 2차 전지, 바이오, 수소 등 신선장 산업 육성에 주력하는 한편으로 기존 설강 산업 단지의 저탄소화 혁신을 추진했습니다.
Over the past decades, Pohang City has focused on nurturing new growth industries such as batteries, biotech, and hydrogen energy, while simultaneously pursuing low carbon innovation in existing steel industry complexes.
총 수출액 중 철강 비중이 2015년 94.7%에서 2023년 53%로 크게 감소한 반면에 2차 전지 분야가 38.5%를 차지하면서 산업구조 다각화의 노력의 결실을 보여주고 있습니다.
The proportion of steel in total exports has significantly decreased from 94.7% in 2015 to 53% in 2023, while the local export involved with secondary battery sector now accounts for 38.5%. These stats demonstrate the success of Pohang City's efforts to diversify its industrial structure.
이와 함께 우리는 미래 에너지 산업으로의 전환을 가속화하고 있습니다.
Along with this, we are accelerating the transition to future energy industries.
해안가 도시이기 때문에 해상 풍력 발전단지 조성과 도시 전반의 수소 에너지 인프라 구축이 그 예입니다.
Examples included the development of the seashore wind due to thanks to our local location and power complexes and the establishment of the hydrogen energy infrastructure throughout the city.
특히 지난 1일 대한민국 중앙정부로부터 첫 수소 특화단지로 지정이 되어서 철강 산업과 수소 발전 클러스터를 연계한 친환경 산업 생태계 구축에 더욱 박차를 가할 수 있게 되었습니다.
Notably, on the first day of this month, Pohang City was designated as the hydrogen specialized complex by Korean government, first time ever in Korea, which accelerates the establishment of an eco-friendly industrial ecosystem that links the steel industry with hydrogen generation clusters.
산업의 다변화와 함께 포항시는 회색 철강 산업 도시에서 사람과 자연이 어우러진 녹색 생태 도시로 탈바꿈하고 있습니다.
Along with the diversification of industries, Pohang City is transforming from a gray-colored steel industrial city into a green-colored ecological city where people and nature harmoniously coexist.
2016년부터 시작한 우리 시의 주요 정책인 포항 그린웨이 프로젝트는 철길숲 확장, 폐철도길을 통한 철길숲 확장과 도시숲 연결 등과 같은 녹색 생태 도시 전환의 중요한 첫걸음이었습니다.
The Pohang Greenway project, which began in the year 2016, was an important first step in transitioning to a green ecological city, including the expansion of the railway forest and the connection of urban forest.
포항 철길숲과 송도 솔밭 도시숲은 산림청이 선정한 아름다운 도시숲 50선에 선정되는 그린웨이 프로젝트의 대표적인 성공 사례입니다. 또한 도심 속에서 시민들이 도보길과 휴식 공간을 제공하고 있는 주요 장소이기도 합니다.
The Pohang Railway Forest and Songdo Pine Urban Forest are representative success story of the Greenway project, which was selected as two of the 50 beautiful urban forests by the Korean Forest Service of the Korean government. These forests provide walking paths and resting spaces for citizens in the heart of the city.
이러한 그린웨이 프로젝트를 통해서 연간 88톤의 온실가스를 감축하는 한편으로 67만 제곱미터의 도시숲을 조성해서 살아있는 탄소 흡수원을 구축하였습니다.
Through this Greenway project, we have established a living carbon sink by creating 670 square meters of urban forest that reduces 88 tons of the greenhouse gases annually.
특히 하루 평균 3만 명 이상의 시민이 이용하고 있는 철길숲은 UN 해비타트 아시아 도시 경관상을 수상하는 등 국내외로 그 성과를 인정받고 있습니다.
In particular, the railway forest used by an average of over 30,000 people on daily basis has gained both domestic and international recognition for its achievement, which includes the winning by the UN Habitat Asian Urban Landscape Award.
참석자 여러분, 우리 포항은 앞으로 더 나아가서 탄소 중립 녹색 성장의 아젠다를 핵심적 의제로 하는 전 세계가 참여하는 국제 포럼을 준비하고 있습니다.
Dear distinguished guests here, Pohang City is further preparing an international forum with global participation, focusing on the agenda of carbon neutral green growth as a core issue.
이 국제 포럼에서 기후 협약 이행, 탄소 중립 실현, 산업과 환경이 조화된 지속 가능한 성장을 위하여 함께 머리를 맞대고 고민하고자 합니다.
In this international forum, we aim to discuss the implementation of climate agreement, realization of carbon neutrality, and sustainable growth that harmonizes industry and environment.
오늘 이 자리에 참석하고 있는 여러분들을 모시고 지혜를 모으는 의미 있는 자리가 되도록 열심히 준비하겠습니다.
We will work hard to prepare a meaningful event that brings together all of you present here and pools our collective wisdom.
저탄소 녹색 도시를 향한 이러한 포항의 열정과 노력이 국제사회의 울림과 공감을 주는 원동력이 되기를 강력히 희망합니다.
I hope that Pohang City's passion and efforts toward becoming low carbon green city will serve as a driving force that resonates with and inspires the international community.
기후 행동 변화의 실질적인 주체를 할 수 있는 도시와 도시가 먼저 손을 잡고 지구를 위해 더 일찍 행동하고 다 함께 시작합시다.
Let cities who becomes the protagonists of this action join hands first, act earlier for the earth, and let's all start together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for hearing my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now we will have a discussion. I'm sorry. Thank you to all our speakers for this inspiring presentation. We will now begin our panel discussion. Please join me the stage of the discussion. Everybody come forward. 저기 끝에. Since the event much delayed due to the consecutive interpretation, we will have short discussion with you all. I'd like to begin by inviting Mr. Bengxiang Shobei, Mayor of Otan City, to share his thought. Mr. Shobei, as we have seen, Korean local governments are actively pursuing ambitious goals for carbon neutrality. And we heard inspiring examples today. Could you share your reflections on these Korean initiatives?
Yes, thank you very much. I was really interested to see what I explained as well for cities in Europe, that you have a population decreasing, but at the same time more households and more businesses, because the people are aging and households is sometimes just a widow. So you need more, even with a decreasing population, you need more houses. And of course, the industry and businesses are moving forward, and it was really impressive to see how you transition away from a traditional sector like steel. In my area, Mont-Soleil-Mines, Le Creusot, we in Autun we invented shale oil. So it's the first ever exploitation of shale oil. And we had as well to transition away from coal and shale oil to other industries. So even with the decreasing population, you need new businesses, new households. And this is why the challenge is so important and so exciting, is that you cannot miss it. You have to develop in a neutral way. And all the examples that were shown about retrofitting houses and buildings, about trying to also leverage on hydrogen are so important. And every city is experimenting and trying its own way towards sustainability and net zero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Decrease of the population and climate crisis is our multiple crisis we are facing, and we need to collect our wisdom to solve it. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to start with two key questions to the panelists. Let's talk about strategies for the utilization and securing of financial resources by local government in response to the climate crisis. Local governments are often on the front lines of climate action, yet face significant funding constraints. What innovative strategies can local governments adopt to secure and effectively use financial resources for climate crisis response? This question goes to Mr. Park from Gwangmyeong, Mr. Kumar from Iklay, and Mr. Tolin. 박승원 시장님부터 기후위기 대응을 위한 지방정부의 기후 재원 활용 및 확보 방안에 대해서 간단히 말씀 부탁드립니다.
네. 기후 재원 확보를 위해서 자체적으로 탄소 중립 실현을 위한 여러 가지 사업들을 진행하고 있는데 그 외에 탄소 중립 기금 조성 사업을 진행하고 있습니다. 현재 50억 목표로 해서 1단계로 현재 조성 사업을 하고 있고요. 그다음에 두 번째로 기업들이 우리 시에 그 탄소 중립한 기금을 이렇게 할 수 있도록 하는 기금 조정 사업도 함께 진행을 좀 하고 있고요.
잠깐 통역을 위해서 통역을 잠시 하겠습니다.
네, 그리.
So so we are promoting the several the carbon neutrality the project, but I would like to introduce first one. So we raising the climate response the fund the targeting the 5 billion the Korean won. And also, the second, the strategy is we really encourage the corporation to involve into raise the fund together with the local government.
다음은 중앙 정부의 탄소 중립 관련된 공모 사업 추진을 통해서 중앙 정부로부터 재원을 확보하는 작업을 하고 있고요. 마지막으로 지금 우리 지방 정부들이 중앙 정부에게 지속적인 에너지 분권을 위해서 에너지 교부세를 지원할 수 있도록 하는 법 개정을 강력하게 요청을 하고 있습니다.
We are pushing the national government to support the subnational government for financially the funding. To promote the different type of the carbon neutrality project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Kumar will share your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for this. And I was so happy to hear that local government is already putting money from your own pocket. And at the same time, you are asking the national governments to come out with some fund on that. I think that's a good strategy, which as an ICLEI person, I'm also endorsing that. Unless until you showcase as a city that you are interested to commit, that you want to reduce your carbon emissions, and I'm putting my own money first, and I also want at the same time from other sources that need that. So that's a good solution, I'll say, to start with. But I think the next point, Mayor, you have said is that, yes, local governments needs money, either national governments or international financial institutions, to please bring money and give it to the local governments. That is what my statement here and my message to all the international financial institutions, international organizations and national governments to please give money, because the action happens on ground when the mayor and the other city representatives take care of this thing. So I endorse that statement and urging the national governments, urging the international institutions to do that. My last suggestion to the local governments, there are multiple ways of generating fund. I think you said that waste fund and other carbon funds you have. But maybe local bonds like municipal bonds or climate bonds or waste bonds, where you can collect money from the public also, collect money from the public, from the private sources also, so that you can bring that money into the system so that you can implement much more, and at the same time maybe an international institutions can also add money to that on that. Yeah, I think these are the 3 points I just want to add.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Ptolin, finally you're...
There are several issues that prevent cities to access proper unnecessary resources. But just to clarify, all bankers will agree that it's not an issue of existence and availability of money. Multilateral and bilateral banks are claiming there is much more money than what they receive requests for, that it's available. And it's important from my side to try to understand this gap. Was seated in Cairo with two bankers. I will not mention their names nor their institution. One of the two institutions is actually in your country, very nearby. But I was asking them this very same question. Why you are not receiving what you consider proper projects? Because they are claiming they are not receiving projects. Apparently the projects they receive are not transformative enough. They're not at a scale that will lead to proper transformation. They're not ambitious enough. And they would like to see ambition of an administrator of the administration in order to finance it. And at a scale that it's required. They claim they're not interested in return time and return. They understand the issue that can be for social benefit without having a return. I'm not sure how much I believe in that, because we're speaking about, as a matter of fact, not of grants, but loans at an interest rate. So that's the tricky part. But that's what they're claiming. I think, though, that there is another very important gap for that. That is not just the human resources available in a city to be able to prepare an appropriate project and all that. It's also the question of being connected or not connected. Your city are connected enough for you to be here in this venue. But not all the cities are. Most of the cities bear down in current administration. They don't have people that can put on proposals, be here, being aware, or to prepare properly. And finally, there is eventually there is money available for sustainable development, but you want it for economic growth. You want it for a specific type of adaptation. There is different agendas that cannot be easily met. And the very last point, the major divide, it's the capacity building needs to be created in order to get access to finance, to write the projects, to be writing it at the right institutions and in a proper manner, and ecologically.
Thank you very much. It's a really complex issue, actually. To raise more money to the local governments, actually, we need to talk about the role of local governments in fostering greater participation from private sector. So local governments have a crucial role in encouraging the involvement of civil society, businesses, and academia in climate crisis mitigation and adaptation. How can local governments strengthen partnerships with these sectors to enhance their climate response? Mr. Ryu from Kumcheon City and Mr. Lee from Pohang, please share your insights with us. 유성훈 시장님부터 기후위기 대응에 있어서 민간 분야, 시민사회라든지 기업 학계 등의 참여 확대를 위한 지방정부의 역할에 대해서 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
예. 제일 중요한 게 첫 번째로는 이제 주민들이 직접 참여하는 그리고 참여할 수 있는 정책을 펼치는 거라고 생각합니다. 주민 참여형 정책은 기본적인 관점에서 하향식이 아니라 상향식을 중점으로 하는 그런 또 정책이 첫 번째라고 생각합니다.
First of all, I strongly believe that the policy to gathering our community together for thinking about the what is the meaning of the carbon neutrality, and then for educating themselves to involve in the climate action. So we really try to the forming the citizen-driven the activity, the group for the carbon neutrality achievement.
두 번째로는 우리 기업이나 또 각종 단체 또 시민이 참여할 수 있는 네트워크를 형성하고 그 네트워크를 지원해 나가는 데 초점을 맞춰서 지방정부가 역할을 다해야 하지 않나라고 생각합니다. 이런 네트워크를 통해서 서로 간에 좋은 사례나 또 서로 간에 여러 가지 교류를 통해서 시민 의식을 만들어 나가는 그런 과정이 그 속에서 녹아 있다고 생각합니다.
Second point should be to build the public-private cooperation system and network. Within the network, fostering the interaction between the community, the member, then they can share the good information and then good sample of the model. That's the kind of like the first step for the implementing the climate related policy.
마지막 포인트는 이 결국은 지방 정부는 이 환경을 만들어 나가고 여러 가지 그 시민 사회의 어떤 논의들을 이끌어 나가고 분위기를 만들어 주는 거기에 이제 초점을 맞춰서 여러 가지 예산이나 또 보조금 지원 또 이러한 정책적 수단들을 좀 더 확보하고 그런 정책적 수단들을 좀 만들어서 지원해 나가는데 초점이 있다가 생각합니다.
We also think that one of the key should be the financial things. So for the supporting them, our community, the group, we try to secure the fund for their activity, the climate activity. So we do our best job to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lastly, Mr. Lee.
예, 우리 포항 같은 경우에는 우리 UNAI와 또 지역에 있는 한동대라는 대학 하나와 같이 우리 시가 협력을 해서 ESG 선도 도시를 선포를 했습니다. 그렇게 해서 대학이 직접 나서고 그리고 그다음에 시가 지원을 해서 시민들의 그런 그 의식이라든지 또 환경이라든지 이런 부분에 대한 실천적인 그런 행동으로 들어갈 수 있도록 의식을 바꾸고 또 여러 가지 교육을 시키도록 그렇게 하는 것을 주요하게 그렇게 하고 있습니다. 물론 이제 시민사회에 여러 가지 단체가 있어서 그런 그 환경 관련된 단체들도 같이 이렇게 나서게 일정한 보조금을 줘서 같이 나서게 하는 것은 물론이고 우리 공무원부터 모든 시민들이 그러한 교육을 받고 그러한 실천을 함으로써 환경뿐만 아니라 그 이외에 도시가 갖고 있는 양극화, 심각해지고 있는 양극화의 문제, 세계적인 문제잖아요. 그런 문제에 대한 것들도 좀 더 포용적인 마인드를 가지고 우리 이 삶을 살아갈 수 있도록 그런 쪽에 포인트를 맞춰서 열심히 하고 있습니다.
Let me introduce the practical case of the Pohang city to solve such issues. Pohang city seeks to collaborate with UNAI, the sub-organization of under the UN, and the Handong University, one of our local college located in our local area, and our local government already has declared the ESG leading city, and this plan makes our Handong College lead our movement at the first place, and our local governments support this movement from the backside. And we also performing the local education targeted to our local residents, which aims to enlightenment of the consciousness of this carbon emission issue. And our local policy plan also include subsidizing to the social NGOs in our local area as well. through these kind of activities, our Pohang city governments try to embrace all the possible solutions which works for the polarization of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone here today, and especially for our presenters for sharing their valuable insights. Due to the time limit, I need to wrap up. Moving forward, our association will continue to collaborate with national and international partners to strengthen policy and financial support for climate crisis response and carbon neutrality at the local level. We hope that today's session has been both informative and inspiring. Thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of the COP29. Thank you. Group photo will be completed. Please stay for the group photo session.